Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Five Lug Racing Show. With you as always, my name is Don, my partner in crime, Ryan. Ryan, great to see you. We're going to talk everything Gateway at Worldwide Technology Speedway in St. Louis. And guess what, guys? It's Bristol, baby. It's coming. I can't wait. It's one of the more popular events of the season, the Bristol Night Race. Of course, we got to give a shout out to our incredible sponsor, KK's Diecast Community on Facebook. These guys are absolutely incredible. All sorts of diecast to choose from. Kevin, who runs that community, has diecast of the week that he puts up every week for people to go bid on. Make sure you go check out this week's because he's got a doozy. I mean, we're talking about Kyle Busch pedigree. He's got a Kurt Busch 41 Haas car, Kevin Harvick Ford, Jimmy John's car, Kyle Larson's Valvoline red, Joey Logano's 22 Pennzoil, and Denny Hamlin's white FedEx 11 with the gold foil numbers. Those are all the diecasts of the week that you can go and bid on. We will leave a link to his page in our description for you guys to go check out. Drop a couple bids, see if you win a diecast. Ryan, it's so great to see you, bud. We're 20% done with the NASCAR playoffs, bro. I don't understand why it's going by so fast, but it's one of those things. After Bristol, it'll be 30% done. We got to talk about some kid in the Xfinity Series. I've never heard of him. You've never heard of him, but apparently people are hearing about him. So, how are you doing? And let's get after it, bud.
Oh man, I'm doing great. Good to be here. Good to be seen. Hope you're doing well. Also,
Absolutely.
we pregame this show like we always do, so we come in well prepared for y'all watching and listening. And we greatly appreciate y'all watching and listening as well. But it's Bristol, baby, like you said, and now we are going to have all three of our series on track in the playoffs, mixing and dicing it up. But we have to talk about the Xfinity Series because this is their first playoff weekend. The Xfinity field is set. There's 12 drivers in the field that are running for a championship, and Bristol Night Race marks their first bid at a championship run for these 12 drivers. The Xfinity Series has been exciting all season long. It has not been a miss for drama, and we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about a couple drivers in the field. First of all, we got to talk about Austin Hill. Austin Hill comes in 12th in the standings and they're -5 below the cut. Now, if you guys all can think back to Indianapolis,
Yep.
and Austin Hill, getting into Eric Amarola and the shenanigans that took place there at Indy, it cost Austin Hill. He got penalized. He got sat. And rightfully so. We can't be, turning our car and using our car as a weapon to take another driver out.
Right.
Austin Hill wasn't a first-time offender either.
Correct.
For what it's worth, it's something that we've seen multiple times with the 21 driver, and Austin Hill, because of that, lost all the playoff points that he had going into the postseason. So, guy who had a handful of wins, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah, he makes the playoffs, but lost all playoff points and was ineligible to earn any playoff points after that penalty until the postseason began. So,
Right.
what can he do with that? There's a driver. We moved two positions up in the standings here to 10th, and 2 below the cut line is the Haas factory team 00 of Sheldon Creed. I want to mention them because, this is a team that you and I and many others had expected to have a win at this point in the season. They don't yet. That elusive first career win is still a void in Sheldon Creed's career.
Yep.
That team has had a plethora of events that were, you could call bad luck, wrong place, wrong time, type of things that have been a contributing factor into when they've had the speed and not getting the results to show for it. And that's a part of racing, but man, has that bug bit the 00 team quite a bit. And this team is 2 years removed from a championship. Different driver, Cole Custer.
Right.
But for the past 2 seasons, the 00 team has been a part of the championship 4 in Phoenix. And I feel like they've got some work to do if they're going to get there again, especially being below the cut. But as we've seen in the Cup Series, there were drivers that came in to start the Cup playoffs this year below the cut and rose to the occasion in that first weekend at Darlington. And they look like they're on a path to advancing, this weekend. We'll talk about them more in a minute. But I want to talk about that 00 team because you were there, Don, last year when the 00 punched a win at the Bristol night race. Now, it was not a playoff race yet. It was the week before. It was a cutoff race.
Right.
And this year, it is a playoff race. It's the first one. But we know that team has the moxie, the car to get it done. Now, the driver's different, but Sheldon's a good short track race car driver. And I believe that this team as a whole is good. They're good enough to get it done. They just need to have all those pieces fall in the right place for them and maybe catch a break or two. They could potentially find themselves victors at Bristol this weekend.
I would like to call it for what it's worth. Can we get the 00 a little bit of luck in the 2025 season? Just a little bit of luck. And Sheldon turns those 14 second place finishes in his career in the Xfinity Series finally into a win. Can we just get a little bit of luck for that 00 team?
Yeah, I mean, it for real. I'm going to say that there's 11 out of 12 playoff drivers that would really like some luck because the next one we're going to talk about, we're going to jump all the way to the top of the board here because you mentioned a guy we may not have heard of. Yeah, if you're living under a rock, maybe. It's hard not to have heard the name Connor Zilisch.
Right.
If you've been following Xfinity Racing or NASCAR in general, this kid is a phenom. He is the next best thing right now, and everybody wants a piece of it. As far as the fans in the crowd, the collectors. I mean, his stock has rose. We talked to our sponsor Kevin Keeling and KK's Diecast community this past week. Privately about the Connor Zilisch collectors market and how it has boomed. And it's something Kevin is planning on coming on the show next week, and we could talk about it some more, but it's something that can't be not discussed.
Right.
What this kid has done in his rookie season, folks. Rookie season. I'm about to, me. You guys been following the 5 Lug Racing Show? I am the stats guy. I'm going to bring it to you.
Love it.
I'm going to lay it down hard for you right now. So we all know if you followed along this Xfinity season, Connor Zilisch gets a lower back injury at Talladega. Mind you, running in the top 2 when he gets wrecked and hits the inside wall in the back straightaway at Talladega. Unfortunately, ends up having to miss a race at Texas Motor Speedway because of it. His car won. He wasn't in it, but his car won. So this team is just on flat out fire since Talladega. But since Connor Zilisch returned from injury at Talladega, which he only missed 1 race, so he had to watch Kyle Larson win in his car at Texas, but he goes to Charlotte. He gets a second place, a runner-up finish to William Byron at Charlotte.
We're counting top 5s, right? What are we at now?
All right, yeah, we're at top 5s. All right, goes to Nashville. He rattles off another second place finish at Nashville.
We're at 3.
Mexico City. All right. He gets a top 5 there, finishes 5th. Pocono, he wins. We were there to experience that.
Yeah.
And we had a great weekend interacting with Connor and Dale Jr., who sat on top of the pit box that weekend for him. So they win at Pocono. Then they go to Atlanta. They finish 4th. Chicago, 2nd. All right. And now here's where it gets really, really fun. Sonoma, 1st. Dover, I was there for it, 1st. Indy, Kevin Keeling was there for it, 1st.
I'm Iowa. Fingers, Ryan.
Iowa, 4th. Watkins Glen, he won, and we know what happened when he won. He had that injury in victory lane, the freak thing that happened.
Yep.
But he didn't miss a race. At least he didn't miss a start to a race. Daytona. Daytona, he gets credited by NASCAR rules for a win. We all know Parker Klinkerman drove that 88 to the front and punched that trip to victory lane, finished the job for him. But it takes a team sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
He still gets credited for that win, and that's a top 5 as well. Portland, all right, he wins. Gateway, last week, he wins. Folks, if we lost count, I don't blame you, but that's 14 top 5 finishes in a row.
It's unheard of.
Which is a new NASCAR Xfinity Series record, and that's why it's unheard of, because it's new. It's something that he just did. He broke Carl Edwards' prior record of 13 top 5 finishes in a row, and then right behind that was Kyle Busch and Morgan Shepherd. They were tied for 11. 11 was the prior number behind Kyle Edwards. Carl Edwards getting it, folks. So you know, Kyle Busch had that record in 2009. Morgan Shepherd in 1990. Okay. And then Carl Edwards doing his thing a few years after Kyle Busch. But guys, this is just not a thing that you see. It's not a thing that you see from a rookie. All right. Like, no rookie is doing this type of thing. He already has the most wins in a season in counting for a rookie driver. Yep. He is 4 wins away from tying the all-time record for most wins in a single season, which is 13, set in 2010 by Kyle Busch.
It's incredible. It really is.
It is unprecedented. It's something that needs to be talked about. It's something that needs to be appreciated more than, like we need to talk about this a lot. Like as far as the NASCAR fan community, this is special, guys. This is not something you're going to see again anytime soon. And if there's another phenom that wants to come and try it next year and make me put my foot in my mouth, absolutely do it. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's unprecedented. I mean, you see the gap of what it takes to do this. I mean, 13 top 5 finishes in a row. 14, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're at 14 now. Yeah.
14 now, but 13 was the standalone record before. 14.
Yep.
And there's no saying that he doesn't go to Bristol and make it 15.
Right.
The first race of the playoffs, the Xfinity Series playoffs, he comes in, bar none, the favorite to win the championship because of how good and consistent this team is. They have caught fire at the right time, you can say. The string of wins, though, in a row, I mean, there's Iowa breaking up what could be potential for 8 wins in a row, which is also unprecedented. But he had 3 in a row. Then he goes to Iowa, gets a 4th place finish, and now he's on 4 in a row.
It's just madness, Brian. I don't. What else can we say about him? I mean, the consistency is there. The team is just absolutely killing it on pit road. Everybody on top of the box is killing it. The guys back at the garage are getting fast junior motorsports cars out to the racetrack for these guys to race.
And hats off to the pit crew, because they're the ones who helped get it done last week at Gateway. They had a phenomenal fire of a pit stop, man, to get him out in the lead. And Connor took care of the rest. I mean, you get Connor the lead on pit road, he's going to be hard to pass and hard to beat. He's been that good. And yeah, it's just like you said, not more you can say. But guys, we got to look at, not only are we looking at these numbers, but the adversity that the driver himself has had to overcome. 2 personal injuries in 1 single season, and is still throwing the knockout punch, folks. It's unreal.
More intriguing is nobody has an answer. Nobody knows what to do with him. They just you do is just watch the white 88 car just burn you. You know, everybody else is racing for second at that point.
Yeah, and you know, the one I read the comment sections, right? And the one guy getting a little bit of buzz, and rightfully so, is the defending series champion,
Right.
which was going to be my next guy to talk about, is Justin Allgaier, who comes in second in the Xfinity Series points right now going into the playoffs. He is plus 30 above the cut line with all the bonus points that he acquired this year. Justin Allgaier has been no slouch this season, but his teammate has just been so good and so dominant that he kind of gets overlooked. But, when it comes to the field, they've been the cream of the crop between the 88 and the 7. And we talk about the 00 winning this race last year, right? And we have to, because the 00 had to make up a lot of points on the 7 last year to win the regular season championship. The 7 had some bad luck in this race, and it certainly was to the 00 team's benefit. But, to start the playoffs and have an 88 and a 7, if they come in and have some bad luck, those other guys are going to be licking their chops, because it gives them a chance. You're saying there's a chance, right? It's that's a reason why you show up and race, right? And Justin Allgaier's no slouch. He's the defending series champ for a reason. Sam Mayer is somebody who has been quietly consistent all year. He does have a win. He's plus 11 above the cut, though. So when you go from plus 59 above the cut for the 88, plus 7, for the 17, plus 30, and then you go down, the fall off is great to Sam Mayer at plus 11.
Yeah.
Guys, if you're 3rd to 12th, one race can flip this entire standings in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And it's kind of scary when you think about it that way, if you're one of those other guys. But Bristol is the time. The time is now, guys. You got 7 races until we have a new champion in Phoenix. 6 races, really, if you want to get to that championship for. So, just to have that chance to go get it at Phoenix.
And remind us, Ryan, when we got the privilege of talking to Connor and Dale Jr. in the media center at Pocono after his win there, remind us what Connor said looking ahead to the playoffs.
So Silly Me asks at that, where we see the start of the emergence of Connor Zilisch. I had asked him, we had seen you finish second at Charlotte, second at Nashville, 5th in Mexico. The oval races are starting to click off. Now that you finally have gotten your oval win, it's a triangle at Pocono, but first non-road course race win at Pocono. Do you see yourself as a true championship contender now? And his response was, I never not saw myself as a championship contender. And he talked and spoke of, getting their ducks in a row, basically, to start the season off, getting that consistency, building the rapport with Marty Lindley on top of the pit box. And, things are starting to really click off for him. And boy, oh boy, was he right, because, he put the proof was in the pudding. He backed it up, folks. He backed up his words, and win or lose the championship this year, Connor Zilisch has had a rookie season for the ages, folks.
Yep.
And it's been a historic season, and it's not stopping anytime soon. I don't think he's done winning. And it would not surprise me if he gets 4 out of the next 7 to win the championship, and also break Kyle Busch or tie Kyle Busch's single season win record. It wouldn't shock me at all. These other guys in the field deserve to be talked about a little bit, and that's why we did, but they have their work cut out for them if they're going to go out there and beat the 88.
Absolutely. Well said. We could talk about Connor all day long. And you know what? Just for fun, we'll go ahead and drop the link to Connor's interview at Pocono down there for you guys to enjoy again. We've got that in our archives. So make sure you go check out that interview, because it was a lot of fun to get to chat with those guys during Pocono weekend.
Absolutely. We got to them on Friday when they were going through tech. It was a little bit windy, a bit windy, actually. Still a great interview with both of them. And then, of course, in the media center post-race, getting to chat with them as well after they won. Really, really cool experience. So, yeah, go back and check that out. We'll reshare it. Why not? But, yeah, we got to talk about these Cup guys
Let's talk
coming
about
in.
the Gateway. We had a couple storylines we got to cover. Of course, the winner and a couple of things that happened during the race, and something very, very intriguing that happened after the checkered flag. We had guys doing a little bit of landscaping and a little bit of grass that was there. NASCAR had an opinion on it. Ryan, let's talk about it a little bit, bud. What's going on with the Trackhouse guys?
All right, so we'll talk about the Trackhouse landscaping crew of Ross Chastain and Shane Van Gisbergen. But I also want to add one more that I saw doing the same thing and then doing something else on the track as well. And we're going to talk about the scenario, and it's Joey Logano in the 22 car.
Okay.
Joey Logano, the 88 and the 1 were all doing things to pick up weight.
Okay.
These teams are worried and working on a thin margin of making weight post race.
Right.
We've seen a car not make race weight post race and get kicked out of the playoffs for it last year.
Quite
And
literally
Alex
lost his playoff round of 8 berth. We're talking about Alex Bowman last year at the Roval. Joey Logano ended up being the beneficiary of Alex Bowman's too light and goes on and wins the championship. He was eliminated. Joey Logano was eliminated, had his Undertaker moment, and sure enough goes on and wins the championship a few weeks after that.
Yeah, imagine that. And it's it's wild to think about, but yeah, what we saw was on the cool down lap, the 1 of Ross Chastain, the 88, both were, they look like drunk drivers. They went in, they're on a warm-up lane, and then all of a sudden they're in the grass, and it was clearly that it was intentional. These are professional drivers.
Right.
They're not just going to veer into the grass all of a sudden after running hundreds of miles in a race without any issues. Joey Logano, before getting into the warm-up lane and grass, goes high in one of the turns on the cool-down lap, out of the racing groove, like up against the wall to pick up marbles, dirt, debris, whatever it could be, to get that onto the tires, into the steering suspension, whatever may be the case. And then in the warm-up lane goes into the grass on the left side. Just didn't make it look as obvious as the others. And you'll see that in this video as we're talking about it. But it's just wild that they did it. It definitely caught NASCAR's eye. There is a rule in the rule book that you are not to manipulate your vehicle intentionally. So NASCAR has given a full warning to Trackhouse. NASCAR spoke to Trackhouse management, which would include owner Justin Marks, which also would include those drivers. And I'm not sure about the Penske team or the 22, but NASCAR not only talked to Trackhouse about it, but they are issuing a blanket statement to the rest of the race teams as well, to let them know that we're not going to tolerate this, no shady business or anything like that. And, there is a rule in the rule book, and you can be fined or have points taken away and all that stuff. So going forward, there's no grass on the cool down laps at Bristol. You would have to go in the parking lot to find that. But, so you won't have to worry about it there. But they're making it a point. Don't do anything that can jeopardize your team and point situation. And that's pretty much where that lies. Okay. There's really not much else to say aside from, hey, we're on to you. And, mind your P's and Q's. Let's and then, there was a race at Gateway too. So we have to talk about that. I looked through, 2 weeks in a row, the first caution of the race had to do with the 21 team and Josh Berry.
Right.
Now, at Darlington, Josh Berry, that was all on Josh Berry. At Gateway, he had help. Chase Elliott makes contact with Josh Berry. Josh Berry's car was junk. Yep. Got into the wall hard. It's over. Game over. 2 races in a row early on in the race. Josh Berry is done and has to pretty much, at least at Darlington, they were able to get the car back out there.
Right.
Not the case at Gateway. Yeah. Not the case at Gateway though. That car was junk. It was just trash. And yeah. So a playoff driver gets into a playoff driver. His weekend's over. Josh Berry is in must-win situation this weekend at Bristol.
Right.
End of story. They're beyond hitting the panic button. That button has been smashed and broken by that Woods Brothers team.
Right.
They're going to be coming out full, backed into a corner, fight or flight. We got to go win this race, and that's their only focus at Bristol. And you know what? At least they know what they need to do, right? I mean, it's let's go out and win the race.
Racing for a win. So
yeah.
Not for nothing. I think all three of us, including Kevin, didn't have Josh Berry making the round of 12. So it's not surprising that the 21 Wood Brothers Ford Mustang is in this situation, but the way he got there wasn't exactly how it was going to be. So
yeah, we didn't see it happening like this. I didn't see him getting wrecked 2 weeks in a row really early. I mean, first stage. I mean, didn't even clear it out of the first stage. I mean, that's just wild.
Yeah, that's terrible. So we have Chase Elliott with, Chase Elliott with a questionable move that eliminates Josh Berry from the Gateway race. Later on in that race, we have two more playoff drivers have some issues. Let's talk about Kyle Larson a little bit, because it's concerning that this is a reoccurring event with the 5-car where he seems to be creating chaos, whether intentional or not. It always seems to be a red, white, and blue 5 Hendrick car. So, who ended up being the bad side of that one, bud?
Well, the beneficiary of Kyle Larson driving into the rear bumper was Ryan Blaney. And that is a driver you don't want to pee off. Ryan Blaney can be a little bit of a hothead behind the wheel as it is when you listen to his radio communications on when he gets upset. You know what I mean? He got wrecked. There's no way around it. Kyle Larson could have done things way differently. And there's no excuse, honestly, for what Kyle Larson did, because even if Kyle Larson, there's nobody aside, up, down. It's Kyle Larson and the 12.
Yeah.
And Kyle Larson takes a deep, deep run into the corner, into the turn, and absolutely just drives up the track into the 12 car, and the 12 car gets dumped. Fortunately, it did not ruin Ryan Blaney's day entirely. Certainly spun him out. He saved from massive damage and was able to complete the race and salvage his finish. But he is noted, the 5-car, and there could be payback coming, and Bristol's a safer place to do it.
Yeah.
I was kind of flabbergasted, because, I mean, the way that Larson drove in, and I'm sorry for the Larson fans at home, he is supposed to be one of the best drivers out there, and there's no excuse for him driving in that deep and not having control of his car and backing out of it. He could have chose to back out and not hit the 12 and regroup, but he didn't. He drove right into the 12, and
drove through the 12 on a move that was so avoidable. I'm like you said, the flabbergasted term that you used is great, because what are you doing? Like, what is going on where you don't lift when your car is headed straight towards another race car battling in the top 5? I just don't understand. I don't understand the logic behind it. Larson, again, he's a champion, 30 some odd wins, 33, I think he's up to now. It just doesn't make sense, and it's avoidable. So Larson fans, again, nothing against Larson, but something against the driving right now, because it's not good.
Yeah. And they both had incredible race cars, by the way. The 5, the 12, both had a lot of pace the entire race. And you can argue that if the 12 doesn't get hit there and have to go to the back to drive back forward,
right,
he could have been a potential winner.
Right.
So, taking it all that's a hypothetical, but he had enough pace to be one in contention for it. So, and the 12 is not going to forget that. Especially as these playoffs goes on.
Hey, we had a winner today.
Yeah, we did. And
Another iconic quote coming from the 11 car. I can't wait to talk about this a little bit more because it was hilarious. Let's talk about it, dude.
yeah, so, real quickly, stage 1, Chase Briscoe wins. Stage 2, Bubba Wallace wins. Stage 3, the race winner, Denny Hamlin.
Denny
So
Hamlin.
a playoff driver wins every single stage of the race, basically. But Denny Hamlin is the victor. And, he was the pole sitter, had an incredible car. But there were times where he was wrestling that car. And really late race restart with the other dominant car, the 23 car, who led the most laps, Bubba Wallace, got stuck in gear on a restart, and it kind of jumbled things up and really set Denny Hamlin up for, a caution comes out with Ty Dillon shortly after that, that mix up. Ty Dillon gets a flat, gets into the wall, and brings out a caution. But, the reposition or the re-racking of the field basically was because of, that outside lane where Bubba was in getting backed up from.
Yeah, the hoarding effect was real. Everybody on that outside lane had no chance to do anything with it.
Yeah, really helped the 11 get his track position back. And
Right.
it was game over. You give Denny Hamlin great track position at the end of a race, he's a tough pass.
Mm-hmm.
His teammate Chase Briscoe comes in second. It is the second time this year that Chase Briscoe has finished second to Denny Hamlin. He had had a tough time getting around his teammate in Dover. Again, late race cautions and all that stuff. He's a tough pass, guys. Denny Hamlin is a savvy vet, and driving with I don't want to say driving with a chip on his shoulder, but he certainly is. So we're just going to say it because, like you said, the quote at the end, you either get on the bandwagon or you get run over by it. Between that quote and the "I beat your favorite driver," which one? All of them, just these epic wins. Things that come out of Denny Hamlin's mouth is not only is it add some comic relief at the end of these NASCAR races, but it's also, it's great to have some personality in the sport like that. And
Yes, absolutely.
it's fun, and, you either love Denny Hamlin or you hate Denny Hamlin. And, and then I guess there are some, can swing a little both ways. And I've certainly had my feelings about him throughout his career. But I guess I'm on the fence or more towards the liking the personality of Denny Hamlin at this point. And it's just, Denny getting a playoff win early kind of sets his tone. And obviously he's advancing. Chase Briscoe's advancing. They're both safe when it comes to Bristol. And honestly, you're going to pretty much see if the 5 car and the 23 car have a clean stage 1, they too will advance.
Right.
So yeah, Bubba Wallace, guys, is 4th in points right now, behind Kyle Larson, and then you have Chase and Denny up there. It has been an interesting playoffs, none the least, and Bristol is about to be chaotic.
Real quick, before we jump into that, I'm going to go ahead and admit right now to our followers and our viewers, I'm not getting out of the way of the bandwagon. I'm going to get on the bandwagon. I am not getting run over by that thing. I'm just throwing that out there right now.
Yeah. No sense in getting run over by it, ride the momentum. And
I'm going to go ahead and take it.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you, I said it in the playoff preview that there's been a different Denny Hamlin since the week leading up to Martinsville when they announced the Progressive sponsorship. It's like a weight was lifted off of him, a breath of fresh air. They go out and win at Martinsville, kind of with a little BTA statement, belt to booty,
Yep.
and it's just been an interesting ride and one as an analyst watching it, it's been enjoyable.
Yep.
So as an analyst, I'm on the bandwagon. I'm here for it. Let's go to the party and see where it's headed. It's going to be fun to watch. And, we definitely know he's into the round of 12. And we'll have to see how it plays out for him there. But right now, early statements for Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole.
And Toyota. My
and
goodness.
Toyota. They have come out of the gates, and they are firing on all 8 right now. It's been a really, really if you're a Toyota fan, or if your driver drives a Toyota, you've been enjoying the playoffs so far,
Yep.
because they've all shown pace and speed, even when they may not have had it on practice day. They have shown up and raced hard, and getting the results that they need to handle business.
Yep.
Now we go into Bristol with, like I said, the top 4 in points: Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Kyle Larson, and Bubba Wallace, all seemingly safe, right? They look like they're about to punch their ticket to the next round. Those 3rd and 4th place holders. Early trauma in Bristol could put a monkey wrench into that, but they have a lot of cushion to the cut line.
Right. And those top 4 drivers that you just mentioned are all very, very talented at Bristol. So we expect to see not only Larson, Bubba go ahead and wrap that up in stage 1. Of course, if they avoid, getting accidentally spun or wrecked or malfunction.
Yeah, and then you got Ryan Blaney, plus 42 above the cut line in 5th. William Byron, plus 39 at 6th. Tyler Reddick, plus 37, did everything he needed to do to get himself above the cut line. He came in below the cut at the start of the playoffs and just has had 2 solid weeks, which is what he needs going into Bristol, which has not been always the best of track for him. Be curious to see how that plays out this weekend. Does 2311 find something for Tyler Reddick to work with here? Does Tyler Reddick get out of his own way at Bristol? Because his teammate Bubba has been better than him here. And Bubba's having an excellent start to the playoffs right now. I expect the 23 to be competitive this weekend.
Yeah, he had a P3 finish last fall at this night race last year. So that's not easy to do, y'all. So look for Bubba to be running around that top 10 this weekend.
Absolutely. The next driver we have to mention is plus 32 above the cut in 8th place, Christopher Bell. Okay. Spicy Christopher Bell going into this weekend. Post-race was not happy on the cooldown lap. Gets told by a spotter he's P7, and immediately goes into what the kids are calling these days as a crash out. He just said he's done with it, in his words of, he said he had the best car in the field and finished P7. He's done with it. He's tired of it. They pitted too late. So he was blaming strategy, and is not happy. Don, I think we have a Christopher Bell who came firing out of the gate, gets 3 wins in a row early in the season to start, seemingly could do no wrong, and has not found victory lane since. But they've also been very quote unquote mid since, and has seen his teammates in Denny Hamlin and Chase Briscoe running extremely consistent, extremely well, racking up wins, and he seemingly can't find victory lane. Maybe that's causing a little bit of that frustration. You get a spicy Christopher Bell going into Bristol Motor Speedway, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how that 20 camp responds going into a track that he's actually really good at. So quite curious how it plays out for him.
As far as Christopher Bell goes, I think we're seeing something of that we haven't really seen with Christopher Bell, and that's the mental aspect. It seems has gotten to Christopher a little bit. I'm not saying he's not going to do well or anything like that, or anything along those lines. I think Christopher Bell is seeing Chase Briscoe come into JGR and have a ton of success. He has to watch Denny Hamlin his entire career win 5 races a year, right? So he comes out hot, white hot, and then for whatever reason, it just has not been there. They won the All-Star race. That was really cool to see. Saw him battle it out with Joey Logano, put Joey Logano in his place a little bit as far as that race goes, but it just hasn't been the same 20 team. I don't know if it's a mental thing with Chris and Denny and Chase. I don't know. And until Christopher fixes it, then we won't really know how to gauge what exactly is going to happen to that 20 car. Because if he doesn't get that aspect figured out, we haven't seen Christopher Bell get that ticked off post race, especially after a decent finish. He still had I think it was a top 7 finish, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, 7th place.
Yeah, that's right. You said his spotter said P7. it's really intriguing. I thought we were going to see a different Christopher Bell. We did see a different Christopher Bell for the first month of the season after what happened at the end of last year. Everybody knows what happens there with Toyota and Chevy at Martinsville. But I was not expecting not a meltdown, but just a very, very frustrated, spicy Christopher Bell. Winning cures all, right? Go out there and win, and all of a sudden it's roses and butterflies and everything's good again. But if he keeps racking up non-wins, he might just find himself, a spectator as far as the playoffs go here in a few weeks.
Yeah, I haven't heard Christopher Bell this fired up post race since Las Vegas when he lost to Joey Logano, who beats him on fuel mileage, and Bell absolutely had the entire field covered as far as the car, the pace, and all that stuff. And he was pissed after that race. I mean, but this one, yeah, very spicy Christopher Bell. But good news for all you Bell fans, the next 2 weeks, tracks he really does thrive at. He has Bristol this week. He's plus, listen, Christopher Bell is, I don't want to say he's comfortable, okay, but he's plus 32. Yes, an accident could absolutely not end well for the 20 team this weekend. But I think that Christopher Bell is going to be okay this weekend. And I really think going into New Hampshire, which we'll talk about that in the New Hampshire breakdown, that's the Christopher Bell playground. So, he's got to feel at least confident in the next 2 weeks where he's going. And if he doesn't perform well these next 2 weeks, well, then, yeah, probably going to see a lot spicier for Christopher Bell. The next 4 above the cut, right now is Chase Elliott plus 28, Logano plus 21, Ross Chastain plus 19, Cindric plus 11. And then, below the cut, Austin Dillon minus 11 in 13th place. Shane Van Gisbergen minus 15. Alex Bowman minus 35. Josh Berry minus 45. Guys, I'm going to tell you this right now. If you're watching, listening at home, and thinking about, I'll do the math for you. There's no math involved. Josh Berry, Alex Bowman must win. Alex Bowman had more pit road issues this past week. Don, it's been reported that the 77 pit crew of Carson Hocevar, which is fielded by Hendrick Motorsports, has been swapped for this weekend with the 48. So the 48 and the 77 are swapping pit crews this weekend. The 77 team had really good pit road work last week, one of the best ones on pit road statistically. The 48 camp is pulling this out to see if it helps them, but they have to win. It is must win for Alex Bowman or gets a lot of help, but he would have to have a lot of help because there's a bunch of drivers above him with better point situations than he has. So Shane Van Gisbergen minus 15, he's going to need some help too.
Yep.
And same with Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon's minus 11. He's one that I think can actually help himself. This is a track that actually bodes well for the 3 camp.
Yep.
Could he potentially drive his way into the top 12 in points this weekend? I say yes. I say there's a pathway for Austin Dillon to get it done. His short track stuff has been good. Obviously, we know he won at Richmond.
Without
short track. Yeah, Richmond. The short tracks though is where RCR has shown pace. They have shown speed, and Bristol is a place where they have definitely had pace and speed when you look at the data. So I say yes, Austin Dillon could absolutely upset his way into the round of 12. I definitely think that there's a pathway for it. And with help from others, Shane Van Gisbergen can get there too. Right. But they have to have a clean race this weekend. They have to help themselves by bringing speed to the track and just avoiding the messes. And hopefully by avoiding the messes and your fellow competitors are in them, those points positions can change, and we'll have to see how it all shakes out. But Bristol, like I said, Don, it's going to be chaotic, and I am here for it.
Absolutely. Sign me up for 500 laps of chaos Saturday night. Absolutely.
Saturday night, under the lights, Bristol Motor Speedway. What can go wrong? Oh, and by the way, we have a tire package we haven't seen here before.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that now. So when we talk about what can go wrong, well, we don't know yet how these tires are going to respond. They have really soft right side tires that they're going to be bringing to give more degradation to the tires.
Okay.
Tire wear at Bristol Motor Speedway equals good racing, folks.
Correct.
Which is what we need to see. We cannot see another spring race like we just had, where seemingly these tires lasted forever. And, that's just not okay. We're going to see tire fall off. It's going to happen. NASCAR Goodyear, applauding you. Thank you for doing this because, I don't want to snooze fest Bristol. Nobody wants that.
Right.
And we got to say, Bristol, the last 2 races, has been Kyle Larson's playground.
Right.
Tire package aside, they have just flat out snuffed the field.
Yeah.
The lap, they've had everybody covered, and it's been who's going to finish second. So we go into this weekend with the tires. That creates a little bit of a wild card factor and takes away maybe some of that Kyle Larson dominance that could potentially happen here. And I'm not going to just flat out say Kyle Larson's a shoe-in for victory lane this weekend, but I'm going to say that he's got to be the favorite. And when I look at Vegas odds, yeah, they agree. So they're giving Kyle Larson plus 265 to win this weekend. Hands down favorite. Denny Hamlin comes in second at plus 400. Ryan Blaney plus 600. Christopher Bell plus 750. Willie Byron getting some love with Chase Briscoe at plus 1,000. Chase Elliott plus 1,100. Ty Gibbs plus 1,800. Surprising name at the top? No. Ty Gibbs is actually really good at Bristol. And Joe Gibbs Racing as a whole has had a really good short track package this year. Last year, that's just short tracks are where they thrive, in my opinion, Joe Gibbs Toyotas. So, be interesting to see fellow playoff drivers, Joey Logano plus 1,800 and Ross Chastain and Bubba Wallace tied at plus 22. And then Tyler Reddick plus 2,500, and the list goes on and on and on. But you get the gist here. It's going to be interesting, Don, and we reached that point in the show where we got to talk about the Pick'em Spotlight, the playoffs Pick'em Spotlight, and we'll give some honorable mention to our partner in crime who's not here. KK's Diecast community owner Kevin Keeling has put his picks in for the weekend, Don, and his picks are showing some love to his dark horse being Chris Buescher, who does well here, actually. Chris Buescher, when it comes to the stats side of things, have his average finish of 10.2. And in the last 5 races, he has a win here, 2 top 5s, 3 top 10s. He's led 7.5% of laps. Not a bad pick. And then he also puts his favorite as Kyle Larson, which, is an excellent pick. It's hard to bet against Kyle Larson at a place like this.
Yeah.
Kyle Larson's bringing home an average finish in the last 5 races of 2.8 with 2 wins, 5 top 5s. I said the last 5 races, so he has not finished out of the top 5 here in the last 5 goes here at Bristol. And he's led 37.8% of the laps, guys. He's had this place covered. Larson's going to be a tough out, and that's a smart pick by Kevin. I'm going different. I'm going to go against the grain here a little bit with my dark horse, with my favorite, and I'm ready to lay them on you. So my dark horse is coming from the playoff drivers, and he's absolutely in a gotta-have-it mode. And I think back to a long time ago at Bristol Motor Speedway when Wood Brothers has won a race here with Elliott Sadler behind the wheel. And I think that Josh Berry is going to try his darnest to rekindle some of that magic. And the Wood Brothers Racing, listen, Darlington, they had speed in that car. They had a damaged race car that they put back on the track and got the fastest lap. So they had pace.
And they started.
Yeah. They started well at Gateway again, had pace, gets wrecked by Chase Elliott. Guys, this playoffs has been an absolute nightmare for the 21 team, but it's not their fault. Well, kind of. Darlington, he definitely wrecked himself by getting loose underneath the 45 car. Right. But, accidents happen, and they've taken him out of playoff contention. The only thing that he can do to fix that and advance to the round of 12 is win, and that's why he's my dark horse this weekend. I think that they're going to have the pace to do it. I think, being that he can run these short tracks really well, that they'll be in contention. Or who knows, maybe the bad luck bug continues to bite this team, and this is just not their year. But, Josh Berry's in his first full-time campaign with this team, and I think he's done a great job behind the wheel and brought resurgence to Wood Brothers Racing. But I think that they got a little bit of magic up their sleeves in Bristol. And I'm curious who your dark horse is.
Absolutely, dude. The Josh Berry pick is interesting. As far as his luck goes, it would be difficult for me to pick the 21 car right now. The inconsistency is just too much to overcome. Again, you said this is his first year in the 21 car. There's a lot of bugs to figure out, right? And they're utilizing this season to get a lot of that worked out. Let's go into next season and really hit it hard. He has had a very successful season, all things considered. He went out to Vegas, won that race at the beginning of the year, didn't have to worry about making the playoffs the rest of the season. I don't know if complacency got to the 21 team a little bit where they were in the playoffs and just kind of lackluster the rest of the season. That's what it appeared. That's what the eye test told us. And then we saw a couple rough goes to start the playoffs. So best of luck to 21 and Josh Berry and that team. We enjoy it when teams win, the drivers, of course, but it's really cool seeing the teams get to celebrate those wins because of how important they are. So, yeah, it would be really cool to see Wood Brothers find victory lane. As far as my dark horse goes, I'm going to go with a guy that I mentioned earlier that is struggling what I seem to think he's struggling mentally, and I think a win could cure all the ills in that camp, and it's going to be a JGR car. It's going to be that Toyota Christopher Bell. And I think this is a good track, a good opportunity for him to get back on the right track, even though he's firmly in the playoffs. Like, he's not doing bad. He's just not doing Christopher Bell things right now. And that's very interesting as far as when these playoffs keep rolling on. So I'm going to go with Christopher Bell. I think they get the ship right a little bit. I can tell you one thing. If Denny Hamlin or somebody like Ty Gibbs or Chase Briscoe goes out there and wins this race, we're going to see another meltdown on post-race cooldown lap in that 20 car. So we'll keep our eyes and ears open on that for sure.
All right. Well, time for the favorites. And Don, you just spoke on mine. I have Christopher Bell, Spicy Bell, as the victor here at Darlington. I just think that they're going to find a way to right the ship. And, so give me Christopher Bell to go to victory lane for all the reasons you said, and, some extra momentum of that anger, the motivator of anger, and channeling that anger to a positive here this weekend.
Absolutely. And as far as mine, I'm not even going to sugarcoat this one, y'all. He's great here. He's got a ton of momentum. He's going to run you over his bandwagon if you don't get out the way. So you might as well just jump on it and enjoy the ride. Denny Hamlin, the 11 car, they're firing on all cylinders. The team is performing so well. Denny is racing with a calm, very cool, collected swag right now. That's kind of fun to watch if you don't hate the man. So yeah, go ahead and give me that 11 car as the victor at Bristol Motor Speedway, adding a second win in the first round and firmly solidifying his place in the round of 12.
Ooh-wee. Yeah, that's those playoff points will keep accumulating for him too, who's already leading the league in or the series in wins. I mean, just going to keep adding to it. But yeah, love it, Don, and I can't argue against it. I mean, it's hard to bet against a guy like Denny. If you're not talking about Kyle Larson here at Bristol, you got to talk about the 11 camp. So love it, absolutely love it.
Right on, man. It's Bristol, baby. We're here. It's the third race of the playoffs. It's the final race of this round. Everybody better be ready to go because it's going to get wild Saturday night for sure. Friday night included with that Xfinity Series. Make sure y'all are tuning in to check that out. But yeah, another great episode, Ryan. It's always a pleasure being here with you. Thank you to all of our fans and followers for being here with us to the end. You guys are appreciated so much. Make sure you drop a like and a comment down there. Let us know what you're thinking about your championship favorites too while you're at it. But yeah, my name's Don. This is Ryan. This is another episode of the 5 Lug Racing Show. We'll catch you guys on the next one. Y'all take care.